Hey guys, what's up? This is Brandon from Brand 1 Visuals, and today we're going to be talking about the lenses that I use and the situations that I use them in. So I have a total of 5 lenses that I use, and they're all Sony E-mount lenses, and they are the Sony 16 to 50mm kit lens, the Sony 50mm f1.8, the Sony 18 to 105mm f4, the Sigma 30mm f1.4, the Sigma 16mm f1.4. Alright, so let's kick this. If you guys want to skip ahead to any particular lens, I got the timestamps here on the side. Off with the kit lens, the 16 to 50mm Sony. And I'll be honest, and I don't use this lens a lot. It's a great lens, and for the value, for what it's worth, you do get quite a lot out of it. It has an OSS on it, which is great, because if you're shooting on the A6000 or the A6300 that doesn't have any in-body stabilization, the lens has stabilization on it. It's the OSS, optical steady shot, so that is great, and it actually works really good. And in my opinion, sometimes the OSS actually works better than the in-body stabilization. But when I do shoot with this lens, I use it. I actually use it more just for the wide angle, for the 16mm. Previously, I just shot a dance show reel, and I sold my 12mm, and I was waiting for the 16mm from Sigma, but it didn't arrive, so I had to use my kit lens as my wide angle lens, and it worked pretty good. But the best thing about this kit lens, I would say, is traveling. If you're out on holiday and you don't want to be carrying a whole lot of gear, and this lens is great because it's small, it's compact, it fits well in your pocket, and you can just throw it in there, and it's not too heavy either. It's really light, so or if you have it around your neck, you're not going to get fatigued from carrying it around all day, and you're not going to get those nice blurry shots like you get with the prime lenses. But I mean, that's one thing you sacrifice. I'd like to imagine, like, if something were to happen to it, if I were to drop it and it fell and something broke, I wouldn't be too heartbroken over it, because one, it is just a kit lens. So I definitely recommend it on holidays, and if you're traveling, it's really versatile for what it is. All right, up next we got the Sony 50mm f1.8. This lens is really sharp, even shooting at wide open at the f1.8. I find it really sharp, and we're actually shooting on it right now, and I'm shooting it at f1.8. So, and the autofocus on it is pretty good. Well, if I move out the way, focus. So you got Batman in the background. So I got Batfleck, and I got Mini Batman. I don't know if you can see him. Mini Batman. I think that one's from the video game or something. I come back in picture. Ooh, focus. So yeah, this is a great lens. I definitely recommend it. It's more of a portrait lens. It's a bit tight for most situations, so when I use it for a wedding, I actually use it during the speeches, because it allows me to be a bit further back and get a tiny bit more reach out of it. And since it's a f1.8, I can shoot really low, and usually in the evenings, that's when the speeches happens. It's a lot of time it is low light situation, because indoors and whatnot for the most part. And yeah, it's great to have a fast lens for this situation, and with a little bit of distance. So it's kind of a mid telephoto, because I believe it's like around 80 to 85 millimeter on a equivalence. So yeah, and it also actually does compress a little bit, not a whole lot, not like you would get out of the 18 to 105, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, it does a slight compression on it, so it does look really good, and it does look flattering, especially for portraits, and you can obviously blur out that background. Yeah, so I enjoy shooting on it. It's nice and sharp, the autofocus is great, and you can't really beat it for the value. It's not too expensive. Alright, and up next we got the 18 to 105 f4. I primarily got this lens just so I can get a little bit more reach during the ceremony and speeches, because I usually set this up with my A6300, and I have that in the back with my flame or my Ninja Flame, my external recorder, 4K monitor recorder. And so I have that all set up. So that's a A6300, the 18 to 105, and then the Ninja Flame. That's like my tripod setup. I usually don't switch any lenses out on that. That stays fixed, and I'll just move it around, get to the places that I need and stuff, because that's like a nice solid tripod setup. So I definitely recommend that. And you can get some really nice reaches with this, because I just found when I was before I had this lens, I would shoot on the 50mm, and I would shoot that from the back. But the A6300, it doesn't have clear image zoom, so I'd have to zoom with my feet, and sometimes I'd have to get in the middle of the aisle during the ceremony, which is to get a decent composed shot. And I was like, I probably should invest in a longer lens. So I got this lens, and it's been great. I absolutely love this lens. It's really good. The only thing about it is the low light. Obviously, it's a f4, so you're not going to get great low light performance. I usually find I have to crank the ISO a bit higher on this lens just because of that, so you do end up with a bit of a noisier image, but for the most part, it's I can live with it. All right, up next we got the Sigma 30mm f1.4. This is by far my most used lens, and I have it on my camera body about 80 to 90% of the time. I mean, this thing is so good. The image quality out of this is amazing, and the style you get with it, the f1.4, you can get that nice blurry bokeh in the background, and I use it for pretty much everything. I shoot my bridal prep with it, I shoot the ceremony with it. It's just a great lens. I love the look of this lens. It's just so smooth. It has a certain look to it that looks, I don't know, it just looks a bit more filmic to me. I don't know how best to describe it. If you watch any of my videos, on my wedding videos, like 80 to 90% of the footage you see is this lens, and it's a great focal length. I think it's equivalent to like a 42.5mm on a full frame. I just find it easier to compose on this lens because it's really close to how we see as well, our eyes. And since it does have the f1.4, I like to do like some nice rack focus pulls on this, especially with the A6500. Since it has that touch focus, you can do some cool, nice rack focuses. Having said that, the autofocus isn't great. There are times I do miss focus, but for the most part, I mean, it works great. That is the biggest con though, is the autofocus, and just keep that. Even the manual focus is probably the worst because it's a fly-by-wire system, and it's just not good. Yeah, it's just something you gotta live with, really. So that's a con. There's always a pro and a con, and that's definitely one of the cons. But for the look you get out of this, it's just amazing, and I love it. All right, up next we got the Sigma 16mm f1.4. So as you know, this lens has just been released. I did a previous video on this showing a few shots and some footage from it I shot last weekend, but I had it today, and my wife actually had a open day at a dance studio she works at, so I went and filmed it. I actually put it on the gimbal, so it was my first time having it on the gimbal, and it was really good, and I'm really happy with the shots. As you can tell, I'm 100% satisfied with this purchase. There is no buyer's remorse whatsoever. I'm over the moon about this lens. I cannot sing its praises high enough, and the main thing about it is it's so consistent with the look that you get from the 30mm. I can't wait to shoot them on my next wedding. I got a wedding later this month, so look out for that. But I can't wait to see how it looks and performs in the evening. So I'm really looking forward to shooting that wedding and really putting the lenses 16mm through its paces. After the open day, we went to the pub, just snapped a few pictures of my kids running around, and we got some food. So I got a few pictures of them carving up some meat, which is a bit of food porn for you. If you guys don't know what this is called a carvery in the UK. It's basically, you have like meat you choose some meat, and then you get all your sides, and you can pile up as much as you want. So there's a bit of food porn for you guys. But yeah, I couldn't finish it. I got through most of it. There was quite a lot of food there. If you guys ever come to the UK, you gotta get a carvery for sure, as well as fish and chips. But yeah, carvery, nice pub food for sure. Alright, thanks for watching. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. Click that little bell notification so you get some notifications when I upload a video. I'm going to try to upload content once per week. And if you want to check out any of the gear, I got all the links below. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.